All right, here we go. The next topic in our geometry spatial thinking unit is the topic of polygons. We're going to discuss what a polygon is and what some different types of polygons might look like. So, before we talk about polygons, let's review some other stuff in geometry that we've talked about so far. Like, there's such thing as points, and sometimes you can make a ray starting at an endpoint and going through another point, and you can make another ray, and that might make an angle. All right, we've talked about this, but what we're going to do today is we're going to now connect points A and C, and what we now have is not just one angle at point B, but we have another angle at point A, and then a third angle at point C. Wait a second, that's three angles. That's like a triangle. Huh, that's what I made. I made a triangle. Okay, what if you did another line here, parallel to line AC? Now you don't have three angles. If you look at that shape, you've got four angles and you've got four sides, and we might call that a four-sided shape, which is a quadrilateral. Okay, we're getting today into different kinds of shapes. And triangles and quadrilaterals are two types of shapes. And in geometry, when you have a shape that has more than two sides, which you can't really have a two-sided shape, but when you have a three-sided shape or a four-sided shape or a five-sided shape or any many-sided shape, we call them polygons. Now, to be a polygon, the sides have to be straight, no curves, and it has to be a closed shape. Okay, so you have your triangles, you've got your quadrilaterals, you've got five-sided shapes and six-sided shapes, and of course you can have 7, 8, 9, 10, or 100 different sides in a polygon as well, as long as it makes a closed design and as long as all of those sides and edges are nice and straight, no curves or circles or anything. Circles aren't polygons. We'll talk about circles later. Okay, now, these polygons that you see are what we would call irregular polygons. And what we mean by irregular polygons is that they're not regular polygons. If we wanted to turn them into regular polygons, we'd have to take that triangle and make it look like that. We'd have to take that quadrilateral and make the four-sided shape look like that. We'd have to take this five-sided pentagon and make it look like that. And we'd have to take this weird six-sided hexagon and make it into a nice six-sided regular hexagon. So what is a regular polygon? Regular polygons have all sides equal and all angles equal. That's what makes a regular polygon regular. Now, here's another little picture of this. Polygons versus regular polygons. To summarize, regular polygons are the good-looking ones, not the weirdos. Okay, now, let's say we have this regular triangle. All three sides are equal, all three angles are equal. Is there a name for that kind of triangle? You're right. That's an equilateral triangle. So there are different kinds of triangles because not every triangle is a regular triangle. Some triangles have two equal sides, but the third side isn't equal. That's called an isosceles triangle. Some triangles have no equal sides. All three sides are different. That's a scalene triangle. You probably know these words, but in case you didn't, write them down. Now, these are all what we would call acute triangles, because if you looked at all the angles in all those triangles, they're all acute angles. But that's not true of every triangle. There are certain kind of triangles, and I happen to really like these kind of triangles, and they're called right triangles. And why would we call a triangle like that a right triangle? Oh, because it has a right angle in it. Not all three angles are acute. Now, does a right triangle have three right angles? No, you couldn't have three right angles. And if you want to try to draw a triangle that has three right angles, go ahead and try it. You can't do it. A right triangle has how many right angles? It has one right angle, and the other two angles are acute. Okay. Is there any other kind of triangles? Like, could you have an obtuse angle in a triangle? Could you have an obtuse triangle? Sure you could. Check out that big fat angle at the bottom of that triangle. That thing is obtuse. So an obtuse triangle has one angle that's obtuse, but the other two have to be acute in order for it to still make a triangle. All right, these are different classifications of different types of triangles. And just like there's different types of triangles and there's different vocabulary words that you need to know, there's also different kinds of quadrilaterals. Quadrilateral just means four-sided shape. You probably already know these, so I'm not going to take a bunch of time going through them, but if you feel like you need to pause this video right now and just review them, why don't you go ahead and pause the video, and if you see anything that you don't know automatically, really quickly, right away, then maybe jot down what a rhombus is, or what a trapezoid is, or what a parallelogram is. All right, this is what we need to know about polygons. And so, we're just about done. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a practice problem right now. Practice problem number 1 is, take a look at those quadrilaterals and tell me which of those quadrilaterals is a regular polygon. Of course, I've got a couple more practice problems. I'd also like you to sketch an irregular hexagon. Can you do that? Try. And then, how about a scalene right triangle? A triangle that's a right triangle, but also happens to be scalene. All right, a lot of vocabulary today. Hopefully a lot of it was already familiar. Whatever wasn't familiar, hopefully you wrote it down. That's all I got to say today. I'll see you later.